Hello and welcome to the first quarter moon Hupioghini class. I'll probably say that a few times as we approach 5 o'clock, as I came on a few minutes early. Hello. Oh, yay. So I'm going to set up for the class, and I figured I would do that and kind of narrate what I'm doing. So if you're also joining in for the Hupioghini class, you could maybe gather the same items. So just looking at the space that I'll be in, I have my yoga mat, my hula hoop, and now I'm going to get my candle and matches and put them kind of back to the corner. So welcome to this first quarter moon. The first quarter moon is in Aries, and we're in Capricorn season. This is Banjo. He'll be in and out because he loves the smell of the beeswax candles and of the sage, and that's just typical Banjo. All right, and then I also got my sage and my incense. So you really can, whatever you want to do to set up your space. I also have hot chocolate on the table over there and water. I'm also going to grab yoga blocks because I personally might need these props. You might not. And before we start our flow, I'll explain a little bit more. So looking at the time, I'm going to light the candle, and then I'll begin the class. So I always start lunar phase Hupioghini classes by lighting a candle. It makes me feel like I'm really truly honoring the earth, myself, the time, and our time together by lighting that candle. And today I'll just burn some incense instead of sage because I got this as a gift. It's rope incense, sorry, as I stuttered on that. And it is my first time having rope incense, pretty exciting. You might hear my dogs squeaking and howling, which is very exciting. Okay, let me come up here. And if you are joining for this Hupioghini class, feel free to put in the comments the color of the hoop you're using, or maybe the colors, maybe even the size, and maybe where you're tuning in from. It's really exciting for me to have some of you joining. I'm already hot, so I'm going to take off some of my layers and get ready to move. So the first quarter moon is a time to take action, where the new moon is more about setting intentions and is generally very restorative and is usually a pretty gentle flow. For the most part, there are always exceptions based on what seasons we're in, but generally that's what new moons are. And this first quarter moon in Aries during Capricorn season. So Capricorn rules the joints, Aries rules the head, and the first quarter moon is a time to take action. So all of those things inspired this flow that we're about to experience together. Starting off with the hoop in the middle of your mat. I'm going to just, make some more adjustments. Close that door. So standing center in your hoop in the center of your mat in Tadasana, which is mountain pose, taking feet at hip distance, toes forward, slight bend of the knees, little tuck of the tailbone, and then continuing up to the heart, shining the heart forward, letting your hands come down by the side. Inhale, bringing the shoulders up. Exhale, rolling them down and back. I call this plugged in, so plugging your shoulders in. Taking another breath here. From the top of the head, continuing to lengthen as the shoulders are plugged in. Continuing to breathe your own rhythm. Pulling the chin back slightly so the Ears are above the shoulders. So we're in this very beautiful Tadasana, very beautiful mountain pose. Inhale, let the arms come up like they're wings, like they're angel wings. And then exhale, hinging at the hips, swan dive, forward fold, down. Excuse me. Excuse me again. I am 32 weeks pregnant, so I am separating my feet so I can make room for my baby as I come into forward fold, but you keep your feet at hip distance. Aiming the top of your head down to the earth, hugging your arms at the elbows, allowing yourself to sway side to side or make some figure eights, loosening up the body for this practice today. Breathing your own rhythm, rocking as fast, as slow as you would like, rocking as big as you would like or as small as you would like, really truly listening to your body. Releasing that hug so hands come down to the earth, or perhaps they get close to the earth but don't touch. Walking hands to knees. Inhale to prepare. Exhale, roll up, slowly restacking each vertebrae one at a time. Last to rise is your head. Beautiful. And again, unless you're also pregnant, you should have your feet at hip distance. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Dive down, swan dive down. Inhale, flat back, hands to shins or close to, looking forward. Exhale, rolling down, relaxing down. Inhale, inhale, half lift up with your flat back, and then exhale down. 3 is the magic number. Inhale, flat back, half lift up, then exhale, rounding down. Walking hands and feet out to a plank and making any adjustments of the hoop that you need. You might have to kick it or move it with your foot or your hand. So from this plank, coming into up dog, I'm not able to do up dog, so I'm going to come into all fours and do some cat-cow. Inhale, pushing the marble of your nose forward. Exhale, peeling up, coming up into up dog. Beautiful. Holding here for 3 breaths. Beautiful. Tuck the toes. Returning to a plank briefly just to push into downward facing dog. I definitely have pregnancy brain, which sometimes leads to I'm going to call it pregnancy tongue, where I just trip over my words. Hopefully they make sense to us all. Holding down dog for 3 breaths here. Inhale, looking forward in between your hands. Kind of notice and see where your hoop is, and think about, you're going to walk your hands back into a forward fold and roll up, and you're going to want to bring your hoop with you. So exhale, tucking the chin, look where that hoop is. Figure out how you're going to do that as you begin to walk your hands to your body. Picking up your hoop, inhale to prepare, exhale, roll up. You're stacking each vertebrae one at a time. And you somehow gracefully brought your hoop with you. Yay! Stepping center in the mat, bringing the hoop around your body, holding your hoop at 3 and 9. Excuse me. Again, feet hip distance. If you're pregnant, a little bit wider. Soft bend of the knees. Slight tuck of the tailbone. The heart shining forward, shoulders plugged in, the top of the head lengthening and reaching up, 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 up to that first quarter moon. So the first quarter moon looks like half the moon, and it's the right side of the moon that is illuminated. Chin slightly back, so ears are in line with the shoulders. Now this is Hupioghini centered pose, so the true Hupioghini centered pose. Taking a few breaths in this posture, feeling the strength, balance, heartbeat, and breath of your body. Inhale, lifting the hoop up overhead. Exhale, pressing the shoulders down. Inhale, continue to keep the hoop overhead. And now breathe your own rhythm. So inhaling and exhaling when feels good and natural to you. Making this V with your arms, some victory pose. So letting the fingers come off the hoop. Continue to point out, making that nice, beautiful V. Really adding intention and energy to that V. Looking up through that V, taking 3 breaths. Whatever breath your body is telling you to make, whether maybe you're even doing your victorious breath, maybe you're just breathing. Beautiful. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, letting the hoop return back around the center. Imagining now that your body is a statue, so you're not moving any part of your body aside from your hands and your arms and your shoulders. Just doing little twists, letting the hoop come around the body. Again, really trying to be quiet with the rest of your body like it's a statue. Maybe it's a marble statue, or you can pick your favorite crystal or crystal of the moment. And if you don't have a hoop, you can continue to let your twisting happen and your arms can kind of slap your body. So if you don't have a hula hoop, that's what you can do. And if you do have a hoop, you just twist until you can't anymore. Not really adding any breathing rhythm or pattern other than natural flowing breath. I like the pace that I'm going. If you're someone who wants to add more energy or have a faster flow of prana through the body, you can quicken your pace. And if you quicken your pace, also quicken your breath. That way you have enough oxygen moving throughout the body. And flowing at your own pace for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Now let the twisting still happen, but now let your feet widen. Let your body now move. You're no longer a statue. Let your hips twist. Do what feels right. You can even keep it walking forward or maybe just around the room as you twist. Letting it be now fluid. And of course, I'm someone who's going to settle right back to the mat and add some twisting of the back foot. So as I twist to the side, I'm letting the opposite foot, the back foot, rise to the ball as I continue to twist. More traditional centered twist for those that are familiar with Hupioghini. And you can add that foot movement and that twist while still walking around. You don't need to be stationary. You know, you can make this part of your dance. It's always good to find ways to connect the postures into dance movements. Maybe even keep it spinning one time in each direction just to see what that feels like. I feel like I just spun myself dizzy. If you're moving around as you twist, return to your spot, to your home base, and then have the feet anchored down. Now just twisting from the upper body. Make the twists smaller and smaller until eventually coming to a still point. Returning to centered pose. Taking a moment to notice what you notice. I'm going to stop and sip some water. You can do the same, or you can continue to feel into this posture. And I apologize, I didn't need to already grab a water break. I could just feel that I need that. Mostly for my voice. Just feeling like I needed some lubrication there. Which is a good time to say throughout this flow, whenever you need to make a break, change, or modification for yourself, even if it's as simple as grabbing water, please do so. So tapping back in to centered pose, feet anchored to the earth, soft ankles and knees, slight tuck of the tailbone, shining that heart center forward, shoulders plugged in, top of the head reaching up, always lengthening up, preparing for some breathing lifts. The connection to breath and hoop movement are going to be very synced up for this flow. Inhaling to let the hoop rise up overhead, and exhale as the hoop returns down. So you're going to really just be flowing with your breath. Inhale to let the hoop come up, and exhale to let the hoop come down. Again, moving any speed that feels good to you. If you want more energy to be created, you would be moving faster. Until you get lightheaded, then you would probably slow down or pause. I invite you to inhale through your nose as the hoop rises up, pushing into the hoop with your palms. Exhale, open out your mouth. Exhale out your mouth. You can make any noise. Whatever feels good to you. Two more breaths just like this. Beautiful. Moving into a sequence that I'm calling the first quarter moon flow, or first quarter moon sequence. I just had to remind myself there what that was. I'm thinking about, I'm going to try to do it on my mat. My mat is a really floofy sheepskin. Actually, I think I'm just going to toss it to the side. We're about to have lots of movement from the lower half of the body and really call upon balance. So if you're somebody who, depending on the surface you're on, think about what you might need to be stable. Do you need to take your socks off? Do you need to move your yoga mat out of the way? Just really making sure that you're going to be safe in the space. So returning center, inhale, lifting the hoop up. Exhale, now switching to an outside grip of the hoop. So we're holding the hoop on the outside and pressing into it. Whenever you need to find balance, if you feel a little bit wobbly or unstable, imagine the top of your head lengthening through the center of the hoop and give just a little squeeze of the palms of the hoop in, really pressing evenly from pinky side and thumb side into the hoop. So we're just going to keep that there for now. For some reason I feel the need to back up like I'm going to kick you, but I'm really not. We're just going to begin to march, high lunge march, getting familiar with this movement, warming up our hip joints, breathing our own rhythm as we do this, feeling what it's like to balance from one foot to the other. Is today a day where you can have a nice tight, fast march, where your feet are landing really close to each other? Or is today a day where you want a wider march that's a little bit more wobbly and side to side? Maybe playing around with a tight march to a wide march, knees maybe even coming out. And notice what feels best for your body in this time and place. What makes you feel strongest. The next time your right knee is up, holding there for a moment, kicking out, coming back in and stepping down. So now it's a march, kick, high lunge, kick. Again, whenever you're feeling unstable, imagine lengthening from the center of the head through the top of the hoop, squeezing gently the palms into the hoop. As we kick for 3, 2, 1, feet back to the centered pose, or the centered spot, the home base or foundation pose. I am going to turn towards the right. Actually, yeah, I'm going to turn towards the right, just so this is setting up a better angle for you to view. Now bringing the hoops to the inside of the hoop. Hoop still overhead for right now, but now the hands are back on the inside of the hoop. Inhale, lifting up the right foot, the right knee, kicking out, planting that foot down, flipping the hoop off the body, placing the hoop behind the right foot, right hand on top. So we're kind of in a pyramid pose with our feet, with the hoop behind our right side of or on the side of our right body. Pushing the hoop away and lifting the left foot up. I'm gonna scooch a little bit so you can see better. Continuing to push the hoop away, lifting the left arm up. So this is our modified half moon pose. So you have options here. If you feel nice and stable in this half moon, you could always lift the hoop up, or you can even switch it to the other hand and lift it up. Me personally, I'm super pregnant and my balance is all messed up. So a modification I'm making for myself is I'm angling my foot so I'm not perfectly pointed to the right. I'm angling it in slightly, and I'm really relying on the hoop, opening up the hip, leg going up, arm going up. I'm really relying on the hoop to help me. Holding for 3 breaths. And if you're somebody who really can rock this pose, you could even release the hoop into the top hand and let your right hand go all the way down to the earth. Beautiful. Now, stepping back into the pyramid feet, letting that hand come to the hip, squaring the hips off, taking just a little stretch here, hinging at the hips, leaning over that right leg. Now, inhale, placing both hands on top of the hoop, flipping the hoop to become perpendicular with the body, bending into that front knee to lift up into 3-legged dog. And I am so close to my lamp, but you can lift your hoop off the ground for a balance challenge, holding it as a serving tray, or if you want to add more energy, because first quarter moon, action and energy go hand in hand, you can pulsate the hoop. Again, it really just comes down to your balance. Holding for 3 breaths here in our 3-legged dog. With grace and with ease, returning the left foot to meet the right. Rolling up to stand. I'm going to turn back towards the camera, towards you. Bringing the hoop back overhead into hoop halo and continuing to march. High lunge march. Beautiful job. Again, you can keep your nice tight march, or you can play around with whatever you were doing before. Maybe you're doing wide-legged march or whatever pattern you've decided. Now, marching and facing the left, taking our kicks, preparing for half moon pose on this side. March, kick, march, kick. One more kick each leg. Inhale to prepare, making sure We're feeling nice, long and strong. Inhale, lifting the left knee up. Exhale, kicking it out, landing into both toes pointed towards the left, very similar to a pyramid pose. Flipping the hoop off the body, letting it come to the left side, like it's your suitcase or your briefcase in the left hand. And with your left hand on top of the hoop, pushing the hoop away, beginning to lift the right foot off the earth, getting ready to balance, opening up into half moon pose on this side. So your left toes are pointed to the left wall. Again, I'm going to make my little modification to help me. I'm going to turn slightly in to protect my baby. Opening up, half moon pose. Again, whatever you did for half moon pose on the other side, doing here. Maybe you brought your hoop up, and as I was thinking, I fell. If you're someone like me where you have a big hoop and you're hitting your ceiling, you could always let it flip behind you to lift up, and then you can let your left hand come down to the earth. Really, whatever you want to do to make this pose appropriate for you, this posture for you. I have yoga blocks behind me. If you're someone that has yoga blocks, you could use those as well. Holding this for our 3 breaths. Then turning and coming back into that pyramid. Right hand on hip, hinging at the hips. Pushing the hoop away for that little stretch. For me, this is really hard work right now. It's interesting how, I know like your balance changes throughout your moon cycle when you're female, but my whole body and everything has changed so much and continues to change as I continue to travel through my pregnancy. Last night, I can't even tell you, like practicing this class, I just fell so much and was laughing so much. It's very different. Anyway, inhale, looking at the hoop in front of you, flipping it to become perpendicular to your body, both hands on top of the hoop, lifting up into 3-legged dog. This can be as extreme as you would like. You could hold the hoop up like a serving tray, and that might be enough for you. Or again, if you want more of an energy building posture, you could pulsate the hoop. For me, right now, even just like, I think I need to go to the wall and lift. And with grace and with ease, returning the right foot down to meet the left. I'm going to turn back towards the camera, give a little shake side to side. Whew, whew, whew. That was really hard for me. I don't know if it was for you. So sorry, let me finish my thought. That sequence, if you're somebody who wants to maybe write this down and do this every first quarter moon, or maybe every quarter moon, or just incorporate it when it feels good and right to you. We started off with the hoop up overhead, outside grip, squeezing into the hoop, just doing marches. From the march, we went to the kicks. Ideally, you wouldn't really turn your body, and then you would just kick and come into half moon, then to the 3-legged dog. And and then back to the marching, to the kicking, and do the other side. So if you're somebody who wants to write that down, feel free. I wrote it down as high lunge kicks, marching, hold, which I guess really is kicks, half moon pose, 3-legged dog, and then just reversing that. All right, returning to centered pose, feet at hip distance, toes forward, soft ankles and knees, Little tuck of the tailbone. Again, I'm taking a wider stance to support myself. If you also have a baby to support, I invite you to go wider with your stance, shining your heart forward. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, roll them down and back. Inhale, lifting the hoop up. Exhale, bringing it down around the body. Inhale, lifting the hoop up. Exhale, returning it down. Inhale, declaring, life is awesome. Exhale, affirming, oh yes, it is. Beautiful. Inhale, life is awesome. Keep the hoop up over there. Now everyone widen their stance with a slight external rotation. Inhale, lengthening from the fingertips, reaching up and out, kind of in that victorious arm pose. Continuing to reach over to the right. Exhale, bend the knees and swoop down in front. Inhale to rise up. Exhale, bending, swooping down. This is a modified around the world. I call it kind of like around the clock instead of around the world. Beautiful. And the next time you're up, change directions, swoop down. And for those of you that know the Hupioghini around the world, it is when you have the hoop traveling in front, to the side, and to the back. This is modified because it's coming up, going to the side, coming down, coming up the other side. Next time you rise up with the 12, stay there. Beautiful. Inhale, lengthen from the fingertips. Exhale, come down. So that's modified around the world. Again, I call that around the clock. Taking some hip ticks, side, side. And then making some figure eights. Thinking about all the joints that you're moving, stretching, bending. And then circle. 3, 2, 1. Change direction with your hip circles. And we did 5 on the other side, so now I'll start our count for 3, 2, 1. And then heel toe the feet into a distance that's comfortable to you for waist hooping. Waist hooping for me these days is a little humorous. We'll see if I could do it right now. So letting the hoop touch the small of your back, holding the hoop like it's a nice even serving tray. Whichever direction feels comfortable to you, give it a nice push, even push hand to belly, and then move your hips side to side. Do, 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 do. After a few pulses to warm up the waist hooping, feel free to walk around your space or dance around your space. I have a lens on my phone that makes the room look bigger so you can see all of me. I'm in a really tiny room. So I understand if for you, also being in a tiny room, if your dancing is really just stationary, I get it. So continue to waist hoop in that direction, in that flow. And as you're waist hooping, I'm going to read the journal prompt so you can think about it as you walk around and hoop around. The journal question, where in my life do I keep the strongest boundaries? Where am I most relaxed or lacking in boundaries? So thinking about action, when I read this prompt, because it was about boundaries, it was such like an interesting reflective side of action and taking action that I thought it was a really cool prompt. Again, while waist hooping and walking around, talk with yourself about where in your life do you keep the strongest boundaries? Where are you most relaxed or lacking in boundaries? So yeah, continue to waist hoop while you think about that. Moving around. Obviously, waist hooping is a great way to stimulate energy, increase energy, build up flow. And if you haven't yet, catch your hoop, give it a push in the reverse direction, continuing to move around, your space. Woo! Building up that heat. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I hear him. I hear him. There he is. Hi, Banjo. Oh, and Kenzie came up. That's rare. It's a rarity. All right, keep waist tubing for another minute in this direction. In this flow, which is harder for me right now. I have a bigger hoop, but between the camera and the candle and my inconsistencies right now, I just can't imagine that being a safe choice. But it would help me. And keep that hoop going for 3, 2, 1. Catch your hoop. Return to your center pose. Again, for those not pregnant, feet at hip distance. For those pregnant, a little bit wider. Nice soft joints, shining your heart forward. Closing your eyes, or eyes open or closed, up to you. Letting your breath flow from the tips of your toes all the way up to your third eye with your inhale, and exhale, letting it recycle back down. If you need guidance, you could always inhale through your nose and exhale out your mouth. And it could always be an audible exhale, as those are so delicious. Excuse me. Continuing to breathe, your own rhythm, your own pattern. Noticing what you notice. Imagining the half moon, the first quarter moon. So it's the right half of the moon that's illuminated. Imagining that is planted right in the center of your spine, right around your heart. So maybe in between your two breasts, right on your spine. That white, bright light expands out all sides, all angles of your body, filling up the space between you and your hoop. Inhale, expanding out. Exhale, returning in. Now, as you inhale, that light is going to expand beyond your hoop and fill the room that you're in. You can feel that light. Maybe for you it's warm, maybe for you it's cold, but give it a temperature, one that resonates with you now. Letting that light fill that space between you and your hoop, beyond to the room, and now even beyond maybe the house or the space that you're in. Beautiful. If your eyes are closed, you can now open them. Continue to breathe with that thought of the light traveling from the center of your body outward, filling the space all around. And I apologize, I personally have started to not feel well. So I'm going to sit on this ball, but you hold your centered pose. Every inhale, letting that light shine and spread out to all those in your life that you see and care for. Letting it touch them and nurture them. Sharing the energy that you created, that prana that you started to flow. Sharing all that action with them, all that positive, forward moving, intention accomplishing or goal accomplishing energy out to all those in your family, your community, around you, and then returning it back to yourself with your exhale. Walking your hands to the front of your hoop, bringing your hands together into a prayer, letting the hoop rest between your thumb and your forefingers, bringing your hoop to that half moon in between your chest, sealing in all of that good energy and practice, sealing in all that good energy from today's practice with our Hupioghini closing. May your practice bring you peace, and may you share this peace with the world. Namaste. And I thank you for joining, for maybe popping on and checking out the lunar phase class for as long or as short as you did. Maybe you're catching this as a replay. And for this class, I like to pull cards for the new moon class and the full moon class, but for the quarter moon classes, I tend to not pull cards. So if you're someone who's really into the card pull of your practice, this is a great time to get out that deck and pull that card for yourself. And if you are someone who likes to go right into the journaling, I will also put this in the description of the class. The prompt, if you would like to write about it, is: where in my life do I keep the strongest boundaries? Where am I most relaxed or lacking in boundaries? So I'll type that and put that in the description of the class. And hopefully you got some ideas as you were waist hooping and thinking about it that you might want to elaborate more on. And if you're not a journaler, doing that movement, meditation, journal reflection, you could do more of that, or you could flow right into your hoop dance practice. So these pop-up lunar phase Hupioghini classes that I'm offering for the month of January on Instagram Live are free because they're just a little sampling of my lunar phase offerings. Usually my classes for the lunar phases are an hour to an hour and a half. But I've decided, mostly because of the unpredictability of how I'm going to feel as I'm pregnant, I've been keeping these to 30 minutes. And yeah, if you really like these, you should go check out the Hoop Cubed virtual studio and become a member. You could, with your membership, you could view past classes, and that's where there's a huge library of lunar phase classes from me. Yeah, and if you really like it and you want to give a tip, you can go to the link in my bio, which is flowvixen.com. And on there, I have a link tree that connects you either through PayPal or Venmo to give a tip. And I definitely will be doing a full moon class and I hope to do a last quarter moon class as well. And then we'll see what February has to offer. I hope you enjoyed this first quarter moon in Aries during Capricorn season inspired class. Again, for those of you that want to take notes and practice the little sequence that I call the first quarter moon flow, it's high lunge kicks or high lunge marching, high lunge kicks, half moon pose, three-legged dog, and then on the other side, same thing. Maybe I'll put that in the comments as well, along with the journal prompt. All right, happy hooping and namaste. Let's see, now you can watch me figure out how to get off of this.